Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing, It's a World Cup Thing. As always, I'm your co-host, RJ the Balanced Blue, joined by my fellow co-hosts, legend mates, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. Rob, I'll go to you first, man, given that we got to celebrate the mighty Socceroos victory together the other morning.
That was the other night. Yeah, that was great, mate. I really. Well, you know what? You are right. It was close to midnight, so we'll say the other morning.
Yeah, by the time of it all, yeah.
It's always nice when you have someone there, mate. Give an extra bit of a cuddle to and control me when I get anger management during the games and stuff. But, mate, it's been a really good World Cup. Match day 3 is right around the corner, and we've had a crazy match day 2.
Scott, how you doing, my man? You feeling better on the mend?
Yeah, man. Look, I'm still kicking along. You know, a steady Eddie. But the World Cup is certainly making my stay at home more entertaining. That's for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'll tell you what, lots to recap on the match week 2 of this World Cup, but more importantly, looking ahead about who's going to progress, who's regressing, who's going to be the shock. But ultimately, has our views changed based on what we've seen so far? So, without further ado, let's just kick on to it, boys.
So the way this is going to work tonight, we're going to quickly talk through each group. And in the background, we're going to try and agree on first and second from each group. I'm going to do a little bracket predictor in the background. So we've got the IFT knockout round. So, boys, let's look at Group A. This one's one of the groups that has it all still to play for. Netherlands and Ecuador, both on 4 points. Senegal on 3 points. And the host, Qatar, well, they won't be in the next round. They're on 0 points. Netherlands are playing Qatar. Ecuador are playing Senegal. Are we all in agreement that Netherlands top this group?
Yep, for me.
Yeah, same for me.
Second place. What's going to happen in Ecuador, Senegal, Rob?
I'm going to go Ecuador. I think Ecuador will get this over the line. I think they're good enough for a draw or a win. And I think, like I said, the draw will get them over the line anyway. I've been quite impressed with them. They're not a smoky, but they've been playing good football. And it's not to say Senegal hasn't, but I do like what Ecuador's been doing. So they both progress with Netherlands on top for me.
I think for Senegal, just that little bit of quality and sharpness that Mane brings, they're really missing him, man. So I'm with you. I think Ecuador. RJ, do you agree?
You know what? You're going to get an agreement from me, boys. I don't think it'll be by much, but I think they'll scrape through it.
I agree.
That's it. And just to acknowledge some of the champions here, we got Tom from the United Pubcast. Bruno, 2 goals, 2 assists. He does it all. He had a great game. That's why he made the thumbnail. It's
Clip that. Scotty's saying Bruno had a good game. I think that's the first time he said something nice about Bruno in 3 years.
Well, I used to compare him to John Joe Shelby. That's a massive compliment because he'll never be that good. We got the concierge in the house. Concierge.
Shameless, mate. Absolutely bloody shameless, this bloke. Honestly, so good.
Emad wondering whether Juve kid is Rob. God, we need a whole separate podcast on that. Let's not go down the rabbit hole. And the sports capital here. Good evening, Sports Capital. Nice to see you in the chat. All right, let's go to Group B, boys. Let's not dawdle tonight. England at the top of the group, and I want to talk about them in a little more detail in a moment. Iran second on 3 points. America third on 2 points. Wales last on 1 point. This group is completely open, but I want to talk about England because I'm still tipping them to top the group. Yeah, so there's my spoiler. At what point, the match ended 0-0, and I sat there with my normal response. I'm like, oh, man, Gareth Southgate, terrible. And then I kind of stopped and thought, hold on, but this is the same manager, the same team that won 6-2 in the first match week. Like, can we keep blaming this guy, or is there something else wrong with this England team? Robbie?
That's a hard one. Look, you can't really diss America because they were actually nearly the better of the two on the day. They really were up for this and really turned up and played good football. Christian Pulisic off the bar, I think, was probably the best chance of the game. I was expecting a lot more for England, to be honest. And I think, between the two, the whole football versus soccer thing, I actually thought they would have come out and would have liked to have put the end of the group, to get the 6 points from match day 2 and kind of put it dead in the water kind of thing. But the Americans were good. So, look, again, England wasn't amazing. England and America were good. So it evens up a bit. But I was expecting a little bit more considering how good they played in round 1 against Iran. And we all seen Iran fight back with a good result this round. So it's very up and down. It's very hard to judge at the moment.
RJ, do you think the criticism on Southgate is unfair? Because, I mean, they can score goals. They scored 6 in the first match week against Iran, who got a good result. Was this just a bad day at the office?
Yeah, there's a lot of revisionism going on, isn't it? You have the result against Scotland in the Euros or whatever it was, and then end up making the final, losing to a spot kick. So everybody gets very excited to praise the players 1 minute, bag Southgate the next minute. Ultimately, it's tournament football. They were the lesser of the two desperate teams here because they had the big win against Iran. So, look, judge it after they qualify out of the group. I do think they will win. My spoiler alert is I also think they're going to top this group. So I think it's a little bit over the top, but he does get criticised for some things that are fair. It's just, is it a bit too much? I think so.
All right, boys, and look, to do our predictor for this group, we need to know the winner of Iran versus USA, and I think that's going to be a spicy match, a really, really good match. I've been really impressed with the Americans, though. I think they played some really good football. Pulisic is playing with freedom. He's enjoying being part of a cohesive and talented squad. I actually think they're going to beat Iran in this, and they'll come second in the group. What about you, RJ?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I tipped US to get out of this group in second spot, and I have been suitably impressed with the way they've gone about their business, but also give credit, to Iran. They're going to make a big fist of it, and I think it's going to be a really high octane kind of clash. So looking forward to it.
Spot on, Robbie. USA for you as well.
Look, it's 2-0 to you guys anyway, so I'll go with the centres. I do like Iran. I think it's not going to be a pushover, but I will. America impressed me against England. So look, I could see a draw in this, which I think is enough for Iran, but I'm happy with you guys going with America through.
Yeah, at the moment, if it was a draw, considering like if you're factoring in that Wales won't beat England, a draw is enough for Iran. So America have that little bit of extra pressure of needing to win. So interesting. We're going to lock that in. But I agree, this could go either way. Our man Legs Rooney in the chat. Southgate criticism's 100% warranted. He'll be their downfall. And the football capital, Borche in the house. Nice to see you again, man. Good to see you.
Happy Borche tonight, hopefully.
That's it. We want him happy. We like when Borche's happy. Let's go to Group C. All right, Poland sitting top of the group. I'm shocked on 4 points. Argentina, 3 points. Saudi Arabia, 3 points. Mexico, 1 point. I can't remember a World Cup where there haven't been many dead rubbers at this point. This
Which is great.
Alive and kicking. It's brilliant. RJ, let's come to you. Argentina had a good win against Mexico. We saw bit of Messi magic. Do you ultimately think they will top the group? They're going to play Poland next, which will be a huge match, and then Saudi Arabia play Mexico.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. Open group, like you said. It's Argentina got a good result. Didn't necessarily play very well until the second half. Messi scored a fantastic goal, and I know that now makes him, after his assist, to be the youngest and oldest player to score an assist in a single game since 1966. So, it's good for him individually, but I thought Argentina looked a bit rusty overall. I do have concerns about the way that they're playing, but I'm equally concerned with Poland. Yes, they got a win, and yes, Lewandowski's on the score sheet. Good comment there, Adam. Great insight there, mate. Great work. But in all seriousness, I do think they will edge Poland, but I don't have much confidence in Argentina past this point based on what we've seen so far.
I actually think they're going to draw with Poland. I can see it being a stalemate. They just haven't impressed me as much as I thought they would. And I thought Argentina would do quite well, but I actually think them and Poland will draw, which will then put Poland on 5 points, Argentina on 4.
That'll be hard to break down.
Saudi Arabia playing Mexico. And I've been relatively impressed by the Saudis. They did lose to Poland, but I think they might take Mexico. Now, if I'm right, that then means Poland top the group, Saudi Arabia jump Argentina to get out of the group. That would be devastating for Messi. and Argentinians who have come in with a lot of optimism. So for me, I'm going Poland first, Saudi Arabia second. And hearing it come out of my mouth sounds mental. Where are you at, Robbie, with this group?
Look, I agree with everything RJ said. I think you hit the nail on the head, spot on. Except I do think they will edge Poland. I think this could be like a 1-0 with a bit of possibly Messi magic again. I think they've got quite a bit more quality than Poland. They just got to, like I said, I agree. Like I said, they haven't been playing good football. They've been very panicky. They needed like late goals again to get over the line. But I do think they have enough in the tank to scrape through like a 1-0. So I think they'll get the points, but I do agree definitely with Saudi Arabia. I think they'll beat Mexico, and I think that they're going to progress. So I'll go for me, Argentina, and then and Saudi Arabia progressing.
RJ,
You know
you
what,
get the
though?
deciding vote.
No, I was just going to say, I think Argentina win, but I think it won't be due to Messi magic. I think he's actually going to be taking more of a backward seat in this game. I think it's going to be the others that are going to have to chip in and help him out a little bit. That's how I think that will happen. So Argentina first, Saudi Arabia second for me.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
And I think that's a good point, RJ, about other players stepping up. We saw that this morning with Portugal. It was Bruno Fernandes who stole the show. He was brilliant. And they actually didn't need to overly rely on Ronaldo because Bruno was pulling strings. So, yeah, interesting. We'll have to wait and see. But all of us saying Saudi Arabia will get through, and that'll be a very proud moment for them. The next group, boys, our group. Australia playing Denmark, Tunisia playing France. France are on 6 points. They're already through. No matter what happens, we would need to really do a number on Denmark to jump them. So you can basically lock in France for first. It really all comes down to Australia, Denmark, and how that game plays out. Because I don't think Tunisia beat France. This is probably the biggest game for Australian football in the last, how long? How long since
06?
2016?
06 even, I'd say. Yeah.
Oh, 06, sorry. Yeah, was it 06 when we got knocked out by Italy? Wow. Time flies. What's going to happen, RJ? Let's go. Just tell us straight.
Mate, you got to back the delusional optimist. I said we're going to scrape through second spot. We won against Tunisia. They were a tough opponent. But, mate, I was listening to Thomas Sorensen before with John Aloisi. Mate, you could hear they are nervous. There's a lot more expectation weighing down the poor Danes at the moment. And, they came back against France, but then they weren't ultimately good enough. Yes, we're inferior in terms of individual quality, but I genuinely believe the collective confidence and buzz from that last game against Tunisia, that's a powerful thing. I do think that we can get a draw, and that's enough to obviously get us through. So I'm hoping tooth and knees that we scrape over the line and ultimately finish in second spot.
All right, so you're going the Aussies to go finish in second. Robbie, you and me are usually more pessimistic.
Captain pessimistic over here. Look, same. I actually listened to the same podcast as RJ today as well. But since that, I just really have this feeling. I'm touching everything. I really think we can get a result out of this game. Again, we haven't got the quality of Denmark, and I actually chose them to top this group. And they I don't think they've been shocking, but they just haven't got going, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Like I said, the Aussies are on a high. I really think this is the part where I think that, the true Aussie battler kind of spirit is going to, they can see that there's a destination that's, a bit of history is touching distance here. It's the first time in a very long time. I don't know. I really think that we can get a result in this game. Like I said, the draw is what we need unless something crazy happens in the Tunisia game. But look, I think there's going to be more pressure on Denmark to get a result here. And if the Aussies
they've got a clean bill of health, though, Robbie. Did you hear what they said? Apparently, they've got a full clean bill of health, whereas Australia, we're not quite sure if we've got any last-minute injury concerds. That concerns me.
Okay, I think I said that Atkinson's ready to go as well. I think he was the only one possibly out for that other game. But look, whoever's there,
I wouldn't change the lineup.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it either, to be honest.
The same way, to be honest.
I think we're good enough, and I think it's going to be 0-0, to be honest.
Yep, you've stolen my prediction, Rob. I think it's going to be a board draw. We'll just shut the game right out. So that then, boys, puts France topping the group, The Socceroos in second place. The maths is done. We're ready to move on to the next group, Group D. Sorry, not Group D, Group E. Spain, after that huge win in the first match week, not quite as dominant against the Germans. So they're sitting top on 4 points. You've got Japan and Costa Rica on 3 points apiece, but Japan have the significantly better goal difference. Then you've got the Germans at the bottom. Now, Germany play Costa Rica in the next fixture, and Japan play Spain. I feel like Spain will break down Japan. I see them beating Japan. Not easily, though, because the Japanese team have been very good. No Tomiyasu playing, though, so they deserve to get knocked out for that sin. So I'm going to call a Spain win, which puts them on 7 points. And I actually think that the Germans will beat Costa Rica. That would then put them on 4. So that puts Spain topping the group, Germany coming second for me.
And I completely second that. I think that's how it's going to unravel myself.
Well, this is rare, Robbie. I praise Bruno, and you and me are agreeing all pod. Geez, I know never to do it again. What about you, RJ? Do you see it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, Germany, they treated that last little part against Spain as an absolute do or die thing, because if they lost, that would have been absolutely huge for them. But that 1 point was massive, because now it keeps Spain in the fold, but also now gives them a bit of a psychological edge going against a very poor Costa Rica so far, in my opinion. So I think they will win, and you'll see Spain, no gain to top the group.
I think the Japs really missed an opportunity here as well, to be honest. Like, after winning against Germany in the first round, I thought they were really going to put the sword to Costa Rica. So not even getting a result in that at all. It's just
they were lucky, man. They were lucky.
Match day one, I would have said after match day one beating Germany, I really thought this was going to be get the 6 points, and that's it. So unlucky for them, they could drop out of this and not qualify at all.
It's going to be interesting. This is the beauty of a tournament like the World Cup, boys, because things can change. I had England winning the tournament after that first week, and now we're criticising Southgate, how quickly it changes. I want to ask you, though, boys, before we do the next few groups, there's been an interesting statistic that came out about a lot of these games in this World Cup being 0-0 at half-time. Why do you think that is? Now, just to trigger Emad and Borche, is it the heat? Is it the conditions? Are they fatigued? I don't know what it is. I don't think it's the heat, but it stunned me how many games have been like 0-0 at halftime and are kind of semi coming to life in the second half. I'm thinking back to World Cups past, and at the end of the tournament, you always sit back and you watch all the goals from the tournament, and there's been a lot less action. I'm still really enjoying this World Cup, but I feel there hasn't been as much action as some World Cups gone by. I don't know why it is. There's been some great defensive football on display, but any reason why you think these 0-0s keep happening at halftime?
Go for it, Arch.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, because I think part of it is just acknowledging a little bit of just trying to be disciplined and strategic, knowing that these games are longer, like they are statistically a lot longer than what they are regularly, because there's another 10, 15 minutes being played in some games. And also it's just trying to manage the progressive load throughout the tournament. So I think part of it's just trying to feel the opposition, not overcommit, knowing that you can tend to rely on a bit of fatigue in the second half to really try to imprint yourself. So yeah, I think that's part of it, but I'd love to know specifically if there's anything other than that that's contributing to that.
I knew I'd get him, Robbie. Look, I knew I'd get him. I don't think it's the heat, but you're going to fish where there are fish, right?
You're feeling the heat, Scott.
That's it. I'm under the cosh here. Before you share your views, Rob, apparently more goals in 2018 so far, but that England and Spain game really does skew it. Then you consider England came out for 0-0 the following game. Tom saying making mistakes at a World Cup is a player's worst nightmare. A lot of playing within themselves.
Good point.
Emad thinks lesser quality to World Cups gone by. I don't know if it's lesser quality.
I think that's been good quality all around. I just think that the quality's picked up as well from the smaller nations, to be honest. Like I said, we've had a few 0-0s, but then last night we had a 3-3, a 3-2 that, kind of averages it out as well. So Yeah, like I said, when you got the Spain 7-0 and the 6-2 here, and then like it's a couple nil, it does kind of average themselves, and I believe
Three
that's
all
stable.
draws we had as
That's
well.
what I said, 3-all draw last night. And there's been, like I said, majority of those games have been a 1-0 or nil at half time, and they've really just kicked into gear in the last 20, 30 minutes. So, yeah, look, mate, it could be tactical. It's just sometimes it just needs that first goal to go in to change the game.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Look, it could be that. I also think it's coming in the middle of the season. Some of these players, not that they're playing within themselves, but you're kind of really cautious. You then don't get a break after this. You're back to your club. Like, your mistakes will follow you from this World Cup. Let's look at the next group where mistakes will follow someone, because Croatia and Morocco are both on 4 points. Croatia with 1 goal better in the goal difference. Belgium, for me, I'm going to say it frauds. How Belgium have been the second-ranked team in the world for so long, I don't know. This team never achieve anything. They just don't achieve anything. And Canada are going home. So we've got in this next game Canada and Morocco and Croatia and Belgium. What's going to happen in here, RJ?
Croatia progress for me, and Belgium simply do not. That's what I think. That's the long and short of it. Did you hear about the reported bust-up between De Bruyne and Hazard earlier? Who knows how true it is, but it all spells to Belgium being on their way out and goodbye to the so-called golden generation.
I saw a thing on Twitter today. Pretty much, it was a Croatian football fan bigging up Modric and saying this is why you can never put De Bruyne in that conversation, because De Bruyne is a system player who does a great job at City because he's got the perfect system, the perfect players around him, but he doesn't take the game by the scruff of the neck. He can't transfer that to Belgium. I don't know if that's a fair criticism, but I also know that De Bruyne never pops up in my head when I'm thinking of the best midfielders of all time or generational talent. So Belgium have disappointed, that's for sure. Robbie, what do you think? RJ has Croatia going through, and do you have Morocco going behind them, beating Canada? What have you got?
The same. I agree. I've got I think the Croatians will draw at least or beat Belgium to take top spot as I predicted. And I'm really impressed with this Moroccan team. Where the intensity of this team, the team spirit in this team, man, just they've got.
What
the
about
crowd behind them
my
as well.
Moroccan magician,
Yeah,
my Habibi
mate.
Hakim Ziyech?
Mate, you were talking before the tournament about you were hoping to get a few players with a firecracker, where. Well, mate, this guy is really. Him and Hakimi and a few others in that team have really stepped up for their nation. And I just love, like I said, there's something about, like, that's the international spirit about it, mate. They really just step up no matter what. I don't know, dark horse or not, but I think they're definitely good enough to get in for the 16 here. And, yeah, big Belgium for me, I think don't make it. And a lot of, I don't think it's super surprising. Like I said, a lot of people, I called it before the tournament. I said that defense is an aging defense, and that's going to be their Achilles heel. And like I said, It's a shame. No Lukaku. He's still, I don't know if they'll force him in for this game because he made the bench in the last one. But they're really in panic station. They're going to have to go all out for this. And that could actually hurt them more for, going all out and getting hit on a break or something with the pace of a Morocco or something. Oh, sorry, with the counter attack from Croatia.
All right, so we've got Croatia top in the group, Morocco second. I've got 2 draws in both these games, so that
Morocco can top it, but can't they? If they win against Canada, which is possible, and there's a draw in the Croatia, can Morocco jump Croatia or not?
If Croatia draw with Belgium and Morocco win their match, then yes, they will jump them and top the group.
Yeah, I still think that's a possibility. Those two go through, but it'll be interesting to see which way.
Let's look at the next group then. This one is still alive, the fight for second place. Brazil are going through. Then you've got Switzerland on 3 points and Cameroon and Serbia 1-1. Brazil go through, we all know that, and they'll play Cameroon in the next match. I think they'll have too much of Cameroon. Even their bench is like just insane, absolutely insane. And then you've got Serbia and Switzerland. I think this will be a draw. Now, if I'm right and Brazil beat Cameroon and Serbia and Switzerland draw, that puts Brazil top of the group and Switzerland second. Do you feel any different, RJ?
Yeah, I do. Just by the way, how good was the Serbia-Cameroon game? That was unbelievable. Such terrible defending from Serbia. Got no idea how to play offside trap. But anyway, aside from that, cracking goals. I actually think Serbia edge Switzerland. I think they end up leapfrogging their way into second spot. Maybe it's because I've got a bit of a bias because I like some of their individual players, but I just think there were elements of that game where they were really, really positive against Cameroon, but Cameroon, to their credit, never gave in and scored those amazing quick-fire doubles. I know Serbia did the same thing in the first half, but in the second half, Serbia let that one get away, and I don't think they'll do the same thing against Switzerland. So it'll be fascinating.
Robbie, you're the deciding vote. I think Switzerland hold them to a draw, and that puts them through. I know you're a big fan of the Serbs, though, and RJ saying that they'll beat Switzerland. Where are you at, Rob?
I want them to beat Switzerland again, as I said. But I do. It's very hard. It is very hard, this game. I like the Serbian team. I'd like to get them into the 16. But if I'm going to be real, I do think the Swiss are good enough for a draw, just to grind it out. Because the defense of the Serbs haven't been amazing. Their attack I really like. I think they can score goals, but I'm not sure if they can keep a clean sheet. But like I said, I'll only just edge Switzerland, but I really want the Serbs to progress.
Okay. All right. Then let's look at the last group. Before we do, just a special mention for my GOAT, CR7. If you zoom in on that picture, mate, it touched a couple of strands of his perfectly gelled hair. That's why he leaves it up a bit at the front.
Mate, if he had my hair, he would have definitely got the goal, mate.
Mate, selfish, Bruno. Selfish. Absolutely disgusting.
How shameless. How shameless, mate. Come off it.
No, look, it was honestly... And I'm one of Ronaldo's biggest fans, but man, I watched that and I was like, brother, no, you don't. But I think in the moment he genuinely did think it may have brushed his hair or something and that gave him the goal. But you just kind of felt for Bruno. Bruno was just there like, okay, let's celebrate. It was good to see, though, that seemed fine at the end of the game. They were hugging, having a laugh about it. Not what Man United fans would have wanted to see, but the GOAT, mate. He is still the GOAT.
He's always got to throw something in there, always.
They were hugging. Everyone was getting excited when they looked like they were fighting in the dressing room. They were buzzing this morning, and I think that chemistry takes Portugal far in this tournament. So for me, they top the group. Portugal are on 6 points. Ghana are in second place on 3. South Korea on 1. Uruguay on 1, who have been very disappointing. And the next match is Ghana-Uruguay. So one of those teams is going to have a great time. And then you've got South Korea-Portugal. South Korea don't beat Portugal for me. Comes down to Ghana, Uruguay, and I actually think it'll be a draw, which sends Ghana through. What do you think, Robbie?
Ghana goes through for me as well. I think it's going to be a nice little 2010 rematch. I really think the Ghanaians will be up for it. And Uruguay hasn't impressed me. I thought they actually could have pushed before the World Cup. I thought they could have pushed Portugal in this group, and they just haven't impressed me at all. They did have some chances today, but I really like to see Ghana represent Africa into the 16. So Ghana's got my vote.
All right, RJ?
Yeah, just on Portugal, I thought Ronaldo had some key stats. No shots on target, 1 false goal celebrated, and 1 successful dive. So I thought he did pretty well this morning, GOAT. But no, in all seriousness, Portugal, you're right, Scott. I think they've got a really good team chemistry, but strangely enough, I think that has very little to do with the influence of Ronaldo. I actually think they looked better attacking-wise when he came off, and that's when obviously they got that dubious penalty given, which I thought was very, very harsh, by the way. Just got so much depth in that midfield, in that attacking region, attacking-based defenders. It's going to be interesting to see when they come up against better teams, how they actually go competing against top quality, because they're quite attacking focused. So I think definitely qualify top, of course. But the second place, that's a real tough one for me. So Uruguay, mate, I've been very disappointed with them. Very, very disappointed. They look disjointed, imbalanced. And to be honest, I could see Ghana. It's a tough one for me. Who did you boys go with for second again?
Ghana.
You know what?
So
I
it
think
doesn't
he's
really
spot
matter
on.
what you say anyway.
That's it. I was gonna say that. So let's lock in Ghana for a second.
Nice.
All right, boys. Now the visuals on this are terrible, so I'm going to have to read them out. Okay, but if our predictions are correct, listen to these round of 16 fixtures. All right, we won't give any predictions because we don't know if this will happen. But you've got Netherlands, USA, cracker, Argentina, Australia, and you know Australia win. Could you imagine
The giant killers. I love it.
Wow.
Can you imagine
How
nothing
good would
Messi?
that be?
ending Messi's career because he plays for PSG? It doesn't count. Could
Love
you
it.
imagine? Could you imagine Mitch Duke and co ruining Messi's career? I'd love it. I'd love
Ruining it, definitely.
it. Oh, look, ruining this part of it. Then we've got Spain, Morocco, Brazil, Ghana, England, Ecuador,
Wow, some really different ones, eh?
France, Saudi Arabia. That would be a very interesting match. Croatia, Germany,
Oh,
and Portugal, Switzerland.
wow.
Wow.
I definitely wouldn't have predicted most of them in our preview, but yeah, something very different, that's for sure.
100%. RJ, think about that. There are teams here, Saudi Arabia, Ecuador, Switzerland, Morocco, Australia, the USA. They're all teams that we maybe didn't, Ghana, that we maybe didn't predict would go through. But I guess it's a testament to what an exciting World Cup it has been so far, because it has been a good cup.
I think that's the key theme, isn't it? Like, that's the key theme of anything, is that the gap between the classic heavyweights and those beyond them has shrunk. So I think that's a good endorsement of about how improved global football has become, but equally how complacent some of the bigger nations traditionally have become also. So they've got a lot of work to do if they want to reassert themselves as the global powerhouses. But it's been good for the neutral.
I almost think we're past those days internationally where we're just going to have like one or two teams that are mega dominant and just carry football. I think everyone else has caught up. Yeah, Asian Confederation, Africa's always produced some quality players. I think the world's caught up, and that's going to make the world game interesting even more. Next World Cup, we'll talk about that another time with more teams. I don't know how good that'll be, but maybe Malta will get there, and that would be a brilliant thing for me to see. Robbie, before we get to any quick fires, if you boys have them, just give me one moment from this round that really stood out for you. Could be a goal, could be controversy, whatever you'd like.
I'll go fresh. The Bruno double. You know what? Bruno's performance in general this tournament is really I think he's really been one of the players of the tournament.
Yep.
So I'll pick that.
You did too. RJ, what stood out for you, man?
I know you think I'm going to say Messi, but we've got to give it to Mitch Duke, man. Like, that goal, what an unbelievable move, what an unbelievable finish, and what an unbelievable result for Australian football. So that was my moment of the round.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Look, I would probably say I'm enjoying seeing Iran doing some positive things in the Cup. I actually want to see them go through. And for them to get that 2-0 win over Wales, even though it was early, I actually really enjoyed that, because just for your Middle Eastern football, it's good to see them representing, because Qatar have not given a good account of themselves. So, I enjoyed watching the Iran moment. And, of course, Mitch Duke, friend of the show. We love him here. That stood out. Did you have any quick fires, boys?
Mine's not really a quick fire. I've more got just a question directed around the tournament. After 2 match days, who has disappointed you the most and who has impressed you the most? Or, like I said, who's changed your mind, as RJ was saying earlier?
Who's disappointed and who's impressed?
Well, for me, I'll say who's disappointed me the most as a team. I think I've been most disappointed with, you could say Belgium, but I'm not super surprised. But I'd say Uruguay, as I said, been pretty disappointed with the quality they've got. Just the football they've been playing, aside from the last half hour, very disappointing overall.
Yeah, look, for me, I am going to say Belgium, because you keep thinking they're going to do something eventually. On paper, they look fantastic, but they've really mega flopped this tournament. They've really just not even played good football, for me. So they'd probably be my biggest disappointment. And the Saudis have been someone that has really impressed me. And Japan. Even though they didn't win the last match, I've liked some of the things I've seen from them.
Yeah, nice. Look, I'm going to go Argentina for me. They're the ones that I really expected a little bit more performance and cohesion, especially off the back of their Copa America win last year. I expected them to just start high flying kind of from the start. Like a lot more better football, a lot more teamwork, a lot more. I don't know. They just still look like very all over the place at the moment. They could get better, obviously, as the tournament goes on, but I don't look at them right now and say, I don't think you guys are going to win the World Cup at the moment. I wouldn't put them in that bracket. Have you guys got anyone in the bracket that says these guys are unstoppable, these guys are going to go really deep kind of thing?
Not unstoppable, no. Not unstoppable. France have been very good. I think France have been very good.
Brazil is safe for me. Like I said, Argentina with my heart sort of thing, but with my head, it's really hard to see them going all the way. But Brazil just look a safe squad all around that could turn it on at any moment with star quality, but some really experienced defense and midfield. It's hard to find too many weaknesses in the Selecao. So, yeah, they're looking ominous.
All right, RJ, you got a quick fire for us before we wrap it up?
Your early read for player of the tournament is?
Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, I have to agree on that one, to be honest. He's really the lightning bolts are coming out. He's looking good. I have to go Mbappe as well.
Vinny Jr. for me.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that. That's a shout. You know what? I'm going to say Bruno just for the third runner there as well because he's been on fire.
I think what could hold Bruno back is if they don't go as far. Like I see France and Brazil going very deep. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Portugal will go as deep, but Bruno.
And if Ronaldo tries to steal more of his goals, that probably hurts him as well.
That's it. He's a good team player. All right, look, on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. We'll have to put our fixtures in the comments so you can go back and check it later. Leave a comment. Let us know who stood out for you and maybe who's disappointed you. And the next piece of content we drop will be at some point after the Socceroos match. So might be that night, that afternoon. You'll have to keep an eye on our socials so we can crack something together. Keep an eye on it. Enjoy your football. We're almost out of the group stage. Take care. Stay safe.
Come on, you Socceroos.
Go the green and gold.